Alright people, week 3 is upon us. Let's get into these week 3 game by game Sunday and Monday night football predictions, everybody. Let's hop into it. And people, starting this off, I got the Titans losing to the Raiders. I got the Patriots losing to the Ravens. I got the Cheifs beating the Colts. I have the Bengals beating the Jets. I have the Dolphins in an upset form beating the Bills. And then I have the Chargers, Justin Herbert or no Justin Herbert, beating the Jaguars. Hey, this Dolphins versus Bills game, I think it's going to be an incredible game, but I think the Dolphins pull it out, mainly because of the injuries on the Bills defense. We know this Dolphins offense can get into a shootout based on what they proved us last week versus the Ravens. And the Bills' injuries in that secondary and on the defensive line give the Dolphins a leeway to be successful in getting into a shootout this week. Jordan Phillips and Ed Oliver won't be on that defensive line. That's bad for the run game and even generated pass rush. But also, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde won't be there. That's two Pro Bowl safeties that you will not have in this game versus Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki, guys you don't want to play with, people. And they'll have two rookie corners. Not Dane Jackson won't be in this game. They'll have two rookie corners covering Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I just think it smells like trouble for the Bills. I just think, yeah, this will be a shootout, but I think in the end, the Bills defense gives leeway to the Dolphins to be able to really finish this game out. If the Bills safeties don't play well, then I could see a lot of big plays taking place, and I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen, people. Hey, I'm going to just say, I hope Jaquan Johnson and Damar Hamlin are ready to step up for Jordan Poyer and Micah Parsons, who will be out for the rest of the season in this game, people. So I'll take the Dolphins over the Bills in this one. Now, the Chargers versus Jaguars, whether Justin Herbert plays or not, I just believe in that Chargers defense to get the job done, whether it's in that secondary or with the pass rush, people. Now, that offense without Justin Herbert, I don't know how it's going to look, and I hope they find some way. If they can lean on Austin Eckler, go ahead and do that. But I believe no matter what, if Justin Herbert plays or not, that this defense is going to be able to do its job versus Trevor Lawrence. Now, for these other games, they're just games where I think one offense is just marginally better than the other offense. The Chiefs facing the Colts, I just think, look, the Colts scored 0 points last week. The Chiefs scored 27 in the second game, and I believe trumped 40 in the first game versus the Cardinals. I just don't believe that the Colts offense will be able to keep up with the Chiefs offense. Same thing with the Bengals and Jets. The Jets secondary has not looked good at all. And while they won versus the Browns because of their blunders in the secondary, that whole game for them, it wasn't very complete. So I will take the Bengals because of their pass game with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to win this game over the Jets. Now, Ravens versus Patriots. This is also a game where I think one offense trumps the other offense. The Ravens run game and passing game wise just look like a better offense than the Patriots right now. And look, their defense definitely has some concerns. They did not look good at all versus the Dolphins. But look, I do think that when I'm looking at this game, I do believe that the Ravens, I trust them to make more plays to win this game. And then Raiders versus Titans is the same thing. When I'm looking at the Raiders the first 2 weeks, they faced two passing offenses that were really going to make their secondary pay. The Titans passing offense is not one of those offenses that I think is going to make the Raiders secondary pay. If they can stop Derrick Henry, which I have some faith in them doing, then look, I have a lot of faith in them winning this game. And the Titans passing defense has not looked good at all. They got torched by Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs last week. So I think this is a big game ahead for Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and Darren Waller. Now moving on, I got the Lions taking a W over the Vikings, people. I think it'll be an upset here for the Lions here on Sunday, and I think they'll pull out a victory and show the world that they are the real deal. I got the Eagles beating the Commanders. I got the Saints beating the Panthers. I got the Rams beating the Cardinals. I got the Seahawks beating the Falcons. I got the Bucs beating the Packers. And I got the Giants beating the Cowboys. Now, when I'm looking at the Lions winning a game over the Vikings, there are two things that I think wins them this game. One is their run game. The Vikings did terrible defending the Eagles' run last week, and the Lions are currently one of the best rushing teams in the NFL with the most yards per play per run, people. So I think that Lions pose a problem for the Vikings' run defense, but also I think that Lions' defensive line is going to be able to get pressure on Kirk Cousins, and that was kind of the fall of the Vikings last week for the fact that the Eagles were consistently able to get pressure versus that offensive line. So I think the run game and the defensive line wins this game. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Lions will be able to keep the Vikings off the field and get pressure on Kirk Cousins. So I think they'll upset the Vikings here in week 3. Now, when we're talking about Packers versus Bucs, I just believe that the Bucs defense will win them the game versus the Packers. I just don't have a ton of faith in the Packers passing offense versus a really good Bucs defense that I believe didn't even give up over 10 points to the Saints last week. And then the Packers have shown to be a defense that can give up some rushing yards. So although Tom Brady doesn't have his slew of offensive playmakers on the outside with his wide receivers, I do believe that this is a game where Leonard Fournette really does take over and kind of wins the game for the Buccaneers in this one over the Packers. The Packers gave up over 120 yards to David Montgomery last week. I think it's not going to be any easier versus Leonard Fournette this week. I think that kind of opens up the pass game for Tom Brady. So I think run game and defense wins this game for the Bucs over the Packers. In terms of some quick picks, I think the Eagles get an easy win over Washington. I think the Seahawks get a win over the Falcons. And I think the Rams, in a narrow win, I think they will win narrowly over the Cardinals. And then the Saints versus the Panthers. Look, I just think that Saints defense is going to cause a lot of trouble for the Panthers offensive line and Baker Mayfield, and especially Matt Rule. I don't think it's going to be a good day at all for the Panthers offense. And I think Alvin Kamara, he could have a good day versus the Panthers run defense that has not looked good thus far. Now, when we're talking about Cowboys versus Giants, I think the Giants pull out this game just because both offenses, look, they're kind of limited when it comes to the passing game, and both defenses are looking pretty good right now. I just think that when I look at the Giants, I think Saquon Barkley is the determining factor in this game. I just think the Giants offense has looked to create some more sparks, especially with the fact that they'll face a Cowboys team with Cooper Rush. So I think Saquon Barkley is the difference in this game, and I think he wins this game for the Giants versus the Cowboys. And I just think the Giants, I just believe in their offense to kind of make some more plays in this game, everyone. But now let's move on to these final 2 games. All right, last but not least, I will take the Bears over the Texans, and I'll take the 49ers over the Broncos here in week 3. When I'm looking at the Broncos, look, they've faced the Texans and the Seahawks, 2 defenses that are not all that great, but somehow the Broncos still weren't able to get over 20 points in both of those games. Now you're facing the 49ers defense with a better pass rush, a better secondary, better run defense. I just do not have faith in this Broncos offense versus a more stronger defense in the 49ers defense. And they haven't even played really strong defenses to start this year off, and they still haven't scored a ton of points or been able to really move the ball consistently. And on top of that, I just don't believe that they can really defend the 49ers run. They gave up 5 yards per carry to Rashad Penny in week 1, 4.6 yards per carry to Dameon Pierce in week 2. I just think this is a game where Jeff Wilson will be able to have another good game like he did have last week for the 49ers versus the Seahawks. I just think that also opens up the pass game for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the 49ers defense wins them this game, and I also think the run game also does that. Same thing for the Bears. I think David Montgomery is really going to show out versus the Texans run defense that is not all that great, and I think their run game will carry them to a win versus the Texans. I think it will be a very close game, but I do think the Bears pull it out. Now, when I'm going back to this Broncos game, I just don't have tons of trust in that offensive line versus Nick Bosa and company. I just don't know if it puts Russell Wilson in the best position to be able to win. I just think with a bigger defense coming in like the 49ers, I just don't see the Broncos winning this game, people. But tell me what you think about it all down in the comment section below. Enjoy week 3. Other than that, this has been Malik Hicks, aka the Ranker of the Ultimate Sports TV, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side.